I strongly believe that AI isn't replacing us. There's this narrative now that in the tech industry that AI is indeed replacing a lot of the work. I believe that we are facing a renaissance of sorts. Think of when cars replace horses. Think of when machinery replaced the normal factory workers. You can call them replacing, or you can call this innovation. I always believe an economy has to move in front and has to move forward, and to do that they have to innovate and they have to increase productivity. And I believe AI is this sort of a renaissance for the tech industry in order to make us more productive and redefine the work that we do. I believe that AI frees humans from repetitive tasks and automates a lot of things, and arguably reduces the need for what we can call low-skill workers and enable them to focus on more higher value work and re-educating them. So I believe a person or a company or a country for that matter will tend to prosper in these times of change if they are willing to adapt to the new future, which in this case is AI. So, with that very short introduction, I think it's very clear on what I will be talking about today, and that is about AI replacing me. For some context, for those who don't know, I work in the tech industry. I am currently a product owner, also known as a product manager to some of you. I work predominantly in the SaaS, software as a service tech stack. I also work with AWS. I also work with ERPs as well. So I do have a wide array of skills that I can leverage on going into this AI renaissance. However, I do think I empathize with some of the people who say that AI is this scary thing that is lingering on the horizon that will be replacing us in the future. I want to talk about this because I think it's very related to me. I see a lot of companies laying people off very hastily, I think you can call it, or they're not thinking too much about it and just releasing people. I think some companies are rolling back that, trying to hire back. I think a lot of companies tend to take a very hasty approach, also because I think CEOs are there for the short term and they want to, well, what can a CEO do? They can cut costs and show that they have earned more profit for the company. I completely disagree in that sort of managing. I always believe in increasing sales or revenue rather than cutting costs on the bottom line. Of course, you can cut costs, but some CEOs are there for the short run. They want to prove a point. So what's the easiest way you can increase profits? You just cut people and you just spread the narrative that you are an AI connoisseur and you just want to be this CEO that fully embraces AI, and AI can replace every single person in the organization and we automate everything. Now that's not the case. We saw this happen again with the cars, with the automation, with the machines, with the factories and things like that. History tends to repeat itself, and we're seeing that today with all the layoffs and things. I think I'm going to predict in the short future, companies will realize that AI is not there yet. I think you still need humans to really enable AI. And to hire these people, it will be very, very difficult, and it requires a lot of management and a lot of nurturing of talents to make sure that they adapt to this new reality. And for the companies who realize this, I think they tend to will perform much better into the future. Now, I don't have a glass ball. I can't read the future. This is my prediction, and let's see what happens in the future. Now, looking inwards to my own context, as I mentioned, I was a tech graduate. I'm working in tech currently. Thankfully, still employed. Very grateful for that. But I'm going to talk about what I'm particularly going to do further down in the video. and how I want to position myself strategically in my career or also in the future in my skills to make sure that I don't fall behind in terms of AI, but rather embrace it. So I believe AI isn't just a trend. I think we've been through a lot of things that are pretty much trendy. I think you can think of blockchain technology, pretty trendy. Then you have, well, what do you have? You have the VR, you have the metaverse. They're pretty trendy. Tokenization, pretty trendy, but I don't see them as industrial movers, or they don't shift the industry just like how AI took the industry by storm. I believe a lot of stocks have dropped because companies realize that AI isn't what all the hype is about. Remember how I mentioned how CEOs say, hey, let's just whack AI on it. I think a lot of companies are doing it. You can see Mark Benioff do it for Salesforce, just whack AI on everything and everything will work out. I don't think that's really working out for them. And, investors can see that, and you can see these stocks tend to downtrend as earnings and time ticks on. However, I do see AI as being a structural shift as opposed to blockchain, tokenization, and things like this. And it really will impact on how the tech industry operates in the futures, and also how, tech roles evolve in the future. So I believe that I have to shift my mindset to treat AI rather than a threat or a joke, as some software engineers do. And I can tell you, I work with a lot of software engineers, and they think AI is somewhat of a joke. They said, you come begging me to come back and fix your code that AI has written, and do code reviews and things like that. I do agree that AI is not there yet. AI still requires, as I mentioned, human intervention and human assistance to make it very usable. And you also have to have people who really understand the business to see where it makes sense to leverage AI and where it does not make sense to leverage AI. And then you kind of have to balance the two together. So I think we have to shift the mindset of thinking of AI as a threat, or this some sort of a lucky charm or a golden ticket to solve all your problems, but rather to treat it as a force multiplier going into the future. I believe the future belongs to, people or companies, countries, politicians, workers who really understand AI, use AI for the right reasons, and work with AI in parallel, and not just neglect it and pretend it's not happening. People did that when people were laughing away cars because why do I need to replace cars when I have bicycles, when I have a horse? They are much cheaper. You don't need fuel to maintain them, and they don't break down. Costs is really cheap, and then cars kept innovating, and now every single person or family has at least a car, at least, right? So I think with AI, you can think of it in a similar sense, where you shouldn't neglect it. You shouldn't think of it as a golden ticket, as I mentioned, but you should not pretend that it's not happening, and you shouldn't not embrace it, right? I believe that I have to position myself. You can take the advice, of course, do your own research, or position yourself as someone who wants to stay ahead and not be left behind. Now, I believe that AI frees humans from repetitive tasks through automation, so we can focus on higher value work as humans. I think humans, we constantly evolve because we are really smart Homo sapiens, right? We technically own the world, right? I think from our ancestors, when we were Homo sapiens, monkeys, if you can call us that. But when we start to evolve, our brains got more sophisticated. We realized that, we have a purpose. We always look for ways to make our lives easier. And AI is definitely one of the ways that we do that. So I think AI really needs to be leveraged in the right way. It shouldn't replace tasks in general. It should replace repetitive tasks that doesn't require so much brain work, so we can enable our brains as humans to evolve to a higher level, to focus on much more higher value work. And I believe in the world today, there are so many problems that require solving. And with the help of AI, do believe that we have reached some sort of a tech renaissance, as I mentioned, that really can shape how we evolve as a humankind, going into the future. I think looking specifically to my job, specifically to tech, coding is increasingly, I think some software engineers would argue against this, but I believe that coding can be increasingly automatable. I'm not sure if that's a word, but it can be automated. But AI does have a problem in framing, creativity, code cleanliness to a certain extent, decision making, architecture, things like this, and sometimes contextual things AI doesn't do so well. These are still deeply human, and I believe that if you combine AI as a extra hand to a human who is working on certain projects for a company, for example, or even for your own business, with the help of AI, you can be 10 times, 20 times more productive. You can outsource a lot of very menial things like test script writing, test automation, regression testing to AI, and then you can think more high level in terms of architecture, in terms of how you want to build the end-to-end solution. You can leave this to a human. So together, you can be much more productive, you can create more output, you can generate more revenue for the company. I know it sounds super simple when I mention it, but in general sense, that's the roadmap that is laid out to us, right? I believe that AI today is pretty good in generating code. I wouldn't say it's the best code. I wouldn't say it's the cleanest code. It's good at generating code, right? It's good at generating a base, a foundation for people to look at and help them code maybe 10 times faster, right? It's very good at generating test cases, as I mentioned, and it's also very good at generating documentation, which humans are horrible at. I work as a product owner, and I can tell you, all of my software engineers hate doing documentation. And documentation is very crucial in a company. So if you have code, you don't want to do documentation, AI is your best friend. AI can read through your code, write a documentation, give it a template, give it some roles and governance that it should follow. It doesn't complain. It writes everything out for you, and it writes it so quickly. All you have to do is double check their work, refine the prompts a little bit, and then you get what you need for the next one and the next one and the next one. And as you iterate more and more, AI gets better. And I really do believe there was a saying, AI is the worst it is today. Tomorrow it will be better. The next day will be better. 10 years down the line, compounding wise, I would strongly assume that AI can really replace a lot of the low value work we have into the tech industry today, right? I still believe humans do play a role in driving the context, intent, and responsibility use, ethical use. I would argue that sometimes AI does make the better judgment, but emotions, responsibility, ethics, morals still can be driven by humans. So I don't think that AI is directly replacing a human. I do think, however, humans need to find a way to adapt to it and use it as an extra lending hand. I do believe in sustainable governance. AI should be adopted responsibly, with guardrails, not be blindly and fearful of AI. I really do believe that with AI, you can really create something very strong if you adopt it responsibly. can definitely get out of hand, as I mentioned, as a lot of CEOs are touting today. CEOs are touting that AI is the golden ticket. We should embrace AI in every single nook and cranny of our business operations. I don't think that is the best approach to it. I think you really need to be responsible. You really need to set guardrails for the AI to follow. And with that, AI can be very sustainable in the long run. I want to stress that embracing AI allows you to contribute at a more strategic level rather than being stuck doing tasks that, AI will eventually take over. You can't stop AI, whether you want it or not. You can say all you want about AI. AI is not doing clean code, but as I mentioned, AI is only the worst that it is today. And if you don't fully embrace the times and the changes, I think you'll be left behind. And if you get left behind, looking at how we have innovated and how tech has shaped our society over the past 10 years, I think the amount of evolution and innovation we had in the past 10 years is more than what we had for the past 100 years, right? What has happened today is we have to be very fast in shifting and pivoting to find value where it makes sense and always try things out. I think my work taught me that we should always innovate, we should always experiment, we should always try small things. And if it works, we double down. If it doesn't work, we dispose of it. And I really do believe that this is one thing that my firm is doing very, very well. And I wish to, share it with you guys, to give them the credit where it's due, to always do pilots, to always do MVPs. MVPs also known as mini viable products. And then we ship it to the markets, and if it works for them and if they see value, we double down on it. I think this is a very, very good way to adapt to AI and also adopt AI into our lives. You can even bring this to yourself, right? If I'm gonna do some chores later, and I need to do, for example, let me think of a thing. If you need to do a shopping list, right? You can ask AI to kind of write out a shopping list based on my previous items and take a photo of your fridge or whatsoever, get them to automate it, and then you can be more productive. You do your chores, your shopping list is there, you can refine it a little bit, then you adapt, right? And then you do an MVP. If it doesn't work out, you dispose it, you never touch it again, or you double down and then you introduce new things, taxes, things, boring things like tracking net worth and things like that. AI can probably do it for you. Try a lot of MVPs in your life and you see where it brings you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about myself. I think I did a very technical degree. However, I think I pivoted from, writing code, and I really want to pivot to finding a way to shape my career to be prepared for the future. I think this AI renaissance has shifted me and pushed me to pure development roles, to like product ownership, as I mentioned, strategic management and people development, like leaderships and things like this. I think to a certain extent these cannot be replaced. I think there always will be a human element to corporations, and corporations always need this. And people who really adapt to technologies and are really willing to innovate, I think you bring very, very high value to not only your company, but also maybe to your own business as well. I think as a business person, imagine putting myself as a entrepreneur and I'm hiring. I want someone who doesn't just know how to code. I want someone who is thinking forward, thinking about how to automate his things, thinking about how to do the work at a very, very good level, but always think about strategic thinking, always think about developing people, creating systems and things like that to make the machinery of your business work better, right? Rather than just having that person there 24/7 coding. Without him there, product is that that's not someone I want to hire. And that's where I'm kind of shaping myself as a product owner as well, to learn all of these strategic management skills, road mapping skills, people development skills, and also position myself as a person who provides a different value profile to software engineers and also business analysts for that case. I think this was an intentional transition for me, and I slowly realized the value I have as a product owner. And I'm not shaming software engineers and business analysts and quality assurance engineers, solution architects for that matter. I think every single role you can find a way where you can adapt AI to a way and increase your value proposition in a way that makes you more valuable to the company. Now, I'm not saying that this approach will future-proof me. The company can, of course, release me. There's no loyalty in work nowadays in the 20th century. People can release you, people can let you go. I'm fully aware of that, and I'm not saying that having these things would put you in the perfect seat. However, I really think it puts you in a very, very strong seat to be able to preserve your job, and not only preserve your job, but seek these promotions and then career-defining pivots that allow you to have more opportunities, learn more, be more agile, not be fixed to one tech stack, be very able to move to different areas of the company. I think I want to be a person who defines problems. I want to be a person who can align teams, set the direction, still be very tech savvy. I still really enjoy being very technical. And I want to be someone who builds meaningful products. And I believe this doesn't only help me in my job currently today, but as I mentioned in my previous videos, I really want to start a business. And I believe that defining problems, aligning teams, setting directions, building meaningful products really will push me into that role as an entrepreneur, and also help me in finding my purpose in the future and in starting that business, because I believe these are integral skills for management and starting a business. I don't want to be just another person executing tasks. I believe anyone can learn how to code today. I believe anyone can learn a skill if you put in enough time. Heck, I can even learn how to fix a car if I really want to open a workshop. I just go take a course. Of course, I'm not saying that I'll be the best mechanic, but I'll be a decent mechanic if I go through the course. I do it every day. I really am pretty sure that I will be a pretty darn decent mechanic. So that's just an example of skills. Skills are learnable. However, I believe that intangible things like aligning teams, setting directions, being very, very good with speaking clearly, and also with purpose to your teams, and also building meaningful products is what makes someone very valuable within this AI renaissance, in my opinion. I think leadership roles require empathy. It requires communication. It requires a lot of road mapping skills, strategic thinking. And I believe these are things that AI will struggle to replicate. Now, I'm not saying that AI cannot replicate what I'm doing. AI can definitely replicate what I'm doing. But does my C-suite boss wants to speak to an AI? I doubt so. I think he wants to be able to reason with someone. He wants to be able to sit down, have a coffee with this person, understand what's the struggles of the product, understand what he's trying to roadmap, what he's trying to build, be able to communicate, be able to share, be able to demo. Of course, AI can do all of these things, but there's a human element, there's an emotion-based skill that is tied with this product ownership role that I really do think I can definitely leverage. And I really do think that if you're looking for a tech role to pivot to, I do think that product ownership is one of the very, very strong roles that you can consider in the tech world. Now, I also want to implore you to position your career path as thinking first of how you can future-proof your career. How can you future-proof your business even, right? I want you to think about what I just said today here and if you stumbled across this video, I really want to think about what I just mentioned. I probably haven't shared it in the most clear way. I probably haven't even shared it in the most understandable way to you guys. But the key message that I want you guys to take away from today is that we should not avoid AI. I think AI is there. It's going to stay. We are in an AI renaissance. It's slowing down. People are losing trust on it. However, I think AI is something different. It's a structural change that will evolve the tech landscape, in my opinion. And I really do think that instead of letting AI constantly develop and neglecting it, I think you should evolve alongside it. And that's how you can be future-proof. And that's how I truly believe that AI isn't replacing us, but it's redefining the work we do. And it's up to you to decide whether you want to embrace it or not. Of course, everything I said today is my opinion. Please do some research before considering any of the things I've just said. I want to wish you a great day. I'm not sure if I will get this out in time for New Year's, but I want to wish you guys a happy new year. I hope this YouTube video really got you thinking. And yeah, I mean, good luck to every single one of you for the new year. I wish all of your resolutions, wishes have come true for 2025 and will come true for 2026. Spend it with your family, spend it with your friends. Have a great time for the New Year's. We're gonna have a great one. I really do believe in you. Stay positive, keep fighting, and we'll talk soon. Thank you. Goodbye.